Cooksey, who is a storyteller here in Arizona. So, we love it, right? There you go. So we always start out this way to remind people that one of the things, the first thing that of course law enforcement looks at is any form of media. Of course, social media is a big location that we look for information to try to find out what's the backstory of an individual that's involved in these types of activities. So this is Cleophas Cooksey's attempt at rap. You may not like it, that's okay, we're really not here to judge it. But there is some interesting things that kind of go with this, and that is, if you look at media in general, you can see from this graph that we have had a large influx of films related to serial killing. And of course, that influx is for many reasons to track. And, true crime now has become on all the time. It amazes me the number of true crime shows. But the one thing that you should be aware of too is when we started this piece in the 90s, this section right here, especially for those of you that like video games or things of this nature, rap music. For those of you who were probably not born during this time, or at least most of you probably were not born, but in the 90s, there was a huge legislative action to stop the video game rap music type of movement. In fact, there was legislation that was being proposed to not only label video games, but stop the distribution of them, so you would have an age situation that would go on. So all of this went on in the 90s because the belief was that this type of media was destroying the minds both of youth and creating crime. So that's why I'm certain that when we see the increase that we see here is because anytime someone says don't do something, we do the exact opposite. We want to crank it up. And so that's why we probably have seen some of this. But with your colleagues around you, have a conversation. What have you noticed about your media habits in the area of both, that you could say, rap, these type of things, and then talk a little bit about what do you take away from the backstory of Cleophas Cooksey as your first introduction. So go ahead, take 2 minutes, I'll come back to you.
Paradoxical. Let me take my Twitch. Ah.
Okay, there's something with some content. For those of you that want to maintain these qualities, the reason why we start out with this about media is because it's a great starting point to kind of set all where we get this impression of ourselves. Because of course, unless you have first-hand experience, which it does seem funny every time I say someone in this course will talk to you later. Oh, I have kind of an interesting one because most people perceive that serial killing is a white habit. And that actually is not true anymore. In fact, African American males have taken over as the predominant serial killers over the past decade or so. Why that is, we don't know. It could just be a phenomenon of apprehension, because they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Who knows? There hasn't been a lot of research done on the racial aspect. I mean, we know there's a racial aspect to it. And certainly white males do make up the predominant aspect of serial killing historically. All males know we do have female serial killers. We have groups of serial killers. So we know many of you are familiar with some of the more popular female serial killers. We'll cover a couple of them that are interesting in the course. The insane aspect of it, most people think that serial killers are insane. Remember, insanity is a legal defense, and therefore only about 1 to 2% of serial murders ever are classified as insane. Because it's a very difficult bar, and again, we cover that probably in a couple of weeks. We'll cover it before we go on break. Driven killed due to sexual abuse. There is some truth to that, but it's not the majority of it. People oftentimes associate sexual dysfunction with serial murder, and that's not always the case. There are other reasons for it. Most serial killers are not highly intelligent. In fact, they have an average intelligence of lower, typically. Every once in a while, we get a highly intelligent serial murderer. They're lust killers, not really, it depends on what motivates them and who their victims that they target. They kill alone. That, predominantly, depending on what you're looking at, yes, that's true, but again, we have healthcare killers that have worked as teams. We actually have team killers. Sometimes you'll see family brothers or stepbrothers that'll band together. The Hillside Strangler out of Los Angeles historically in the 70s, him and his cousin banded together and they killed a number of victims. They cannot stop killing. That's not true. In fact, the two serial murders that have been most popular in the past 5 years were actually found at their later stage. They actually have gone, what we would say, dark. They weren't killing anymore. And we begin to see the pattern of all the victims that they have killed. So it is not uncommon for serial killer to start, to stop, and then to come back. It depends on the source. Highly mobile, that's not true either. We do have spree killers, who are typically the mobile ones that would move. Cleophas Cooksey, when you look at his victim list, you'll see that he moved around the valley and at the end killed his parents. And that's what it's found in Africa. Must have a desire to be caught. Most have a desire to be caught. That's not really true, but there is truth, and we'll cover profiling after you come back from break. And we'll teach you that there is what we call an antecedent, and there also is type of activities that we look for. If a serial killer is writing letters, the Son of Sam killer, who wrote letters to law enforcement, and that's why he became labeled the Son of Sam. And those type of activities, we do see them with serial murders. It depends. Some are quite common. Some don't look for the media coverage, they'll make small mistakes. Some actively want to see themselves advertised with someone.
Yeah.
Dozens of victims, not always, and they, I would say that some die very quickly, others die with violent death. We'll talk a little bit about victim lists as well too. And they have a prototype as well that is not true. They have a prototype. We profile them, but they don't necessarily have a prototype. So these are all the things that people typically see as the myths associated with these things. And we build up these myths, and that's why people honestly get a perception of certain things that go on in society. Your job is by February 7th to find out if these myths are true amongst someone or some folks that you see actively. So what we want you to do is interview some people. I say 5 individuals. If you want a couple more, it depends. They can be family members, they can be sorority, fraternity, brothers and sisters, whatever you want to, whoever you have access to. You should get 5 people and you should read them, come up with what you want. I say ask them 4 questions based on the myths. So you could ask them, what percentage of serial killers do you think are white? And you want to get their response, you want to select that data, and then you want to summarize that data as we show you here. So this is what a typical sample student response to this will be right here. So So show us the questions you asked, who did you interview, and then what were the results of your data. So this will be an enlightening experience. Once you post this, that's all you have to do. Again, it's due on the 7th. This will help you kind of see how these myths perpetuate amongst your friends, family, etc., whoever you decide to do. So that's a little bit of information. This is out here ready for you inside of our, it's sitting right here, right below the 29th lecture. So it is ready for you whenever you want to do it. Just make sure you get it done by the 7th, and I will remind you again as we get close. So Mr. one part, and then we're going to move back into the research part of things. So we showed you some typologies for mass murderers. Now we're going to give you 2 typologies we use for serial killers. And again, a typology is really there to understand any number of things, whatever the typology is trying to explain. And the important thing is we're just trying to classify things. That's what research is all about, typically. Looking at patterns of behavior and classifying it and making sense of it. You can see here that the FBI has its own kind of organized and disorganized dichotomy that is proven to be a stepping stone. So they look at things and they say, well, was this some form of organized situation or was it disorganized? You'll soon learn that if it's organized, we typically are looking at a psychopath. If it's disorganized, we're looking at a sociopath. And you will learn the difference between the 2 of them. And once you have that, you'll be able to correct people who often use the term sociopathic incorrectly. They oftentimes conflate the 2 of them and not conflate. There's a very big difference between the 2 of them. So again, once you have different ways of classifying them. Sometimes these typologies will generate more data than others do. And it really depends on the purpose of the typology. Are we trying to do something quickly so that we can understand a particular event, or are we trying to look long-term at data in order to classify them and make sense of things? So Holmes and DeBurger have this 4-stage typology. So they first, you can see here we have the visionary typology. This is killed in response to commands or voices or visions associated with good and evil. These are individuals that suffer from some form of psychosis. And we'll talk about what psychosis really is, what generates it. As we start to get into the psychology piece, which we will do, so those of you that are from psychology majors, we begin next week talking about this. You're going to realize that there are a lot of different disorders, and that you should think about these things as a continuum, because many individuals suffer from some form of psychosis. It could be very short-lived. It can be brought on by stress associated with things that go on in our lives. And so you'll learn that while we love to make these things really easy, they're really not as easy. We talked about that with French kids. There's this mission-oriented typology. This is where the person is focused on some groups of people. They may not, it says they may focus on like the elderly. So if we look at these, healthcare killers are an example of what we classify these. We look at these particular groups because the body counts for some of these can be quite large. So healthcare killers especially, if they go unnoticed because of different events that go on. So for example, if a healthcare killer is in a setting like a nursing home, it is not uncommon to see people die in a nursing home or a hospice type situation. So it's very important that we can catch these things, but sometimes there's a larger body count attached to this typology. The hedonistic, these are the thrill seekers that derive satisfaction from the murder, may include lust murderers, etc. These are the ones that everyone likes to watch on television because these are the ones that we typically see the most activity from, that just the hedonistic part of it just brings out a storyline that people attract to. And then the last one is the power and control oriented. This is where pleasure comes from the ability to control or exert power over a victim. It does not have to be sexually oriented. And so we always look for these type of individuals because they, like I said, they may enjoy certain aspects of rituals with the victim before they murder them. And again, they may not be sexual in nature. And that's why it's differentiated in certain situations. Okay, here's another one that typically, this is a very easy classification system or typology, which is we look to see out of a victim list, do we see specific victims specific victims being by age, gender, etc. Once we see that, then we say, was there a specific method used? Was a weapon, a gun used in all cases? If that's the case, then they fall under this A category. The reason why this is helpful and done quickly is because if you're looking at multiple crime scenes, so we have an event that occurs, and then we have another event in the same city, for example. If you have a typology like this, and things start to fall into line, it makes it easier for law enforcement to say, oh, we maybe should focus on this particular aspect of things. So for example, sex workers are oftentimes victims of serial murder. If you see that happening, and it's happening in a particular geographic location, then law enforcement says, okay, we need to watch and be aware of what's going on here, and they can focus their investigation, etc. So we look for these 4 quadrants. And again, you have to be careful with these because you'll look at a victim list and you'll say, oh, I think it's A. And it could be B. Again, it's somewhat subjective, but we try to be as objective as possible, and you're going to have a chance to do that with Cleophas Cooksey here shortly, because we want to give you the opportunity to do that. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about Cleophas Cooksey. So Cleophas Cooksey started as a juvenile having some issues and was in juvenile detention, and then kind of progressed after he came out of his juvenile detention phase. He immediately moved into adult offending, and then eventually moved into this incident that we're going to talk about here as a spree kill. And we oftentimes, this kind of tracking of things is difficult for law enforcement because Cleophas Cooksey was actually released months before he went on his spree killing situation. So we could ask the question, well, why did we release him? There are a number of factors that go into it. So with your colleagues around you, let me give you an education on the incarceration system. Let's just take Arizona, for example. So there's a difference between jail and prison. Jail is where you go before your case has been finalized. So you have not pled out, you're just sitting in jail waiting for a judge or jury to find you guilty, and therefore, once that happens, they remand you to prison. So different groups. In Arizona, the counties typically take care of the jail system. So in Maricopa County, we have a jail system. For those of you that ever want to see it, it's quite the escapade. If you go on a Friday night, you go sit at the jail, you see tons of people coming in, and there used to be what we call a horseshoe. And the horseshoe was there because they would move people kind of around the horseshoe because many of the people that enter in there are intoxicated or have other issues going on with them. So they keep moving them so that they can kind of let them kind of work out of their system whatever's there, and then eventually they see a judge for the ring. So that's the way the horseshoe works. I think we got rid of the horseshoe. I haven't been down in a long time. To tell you the truth, it's not. It's interesting to watch, but it kind of shows you what goes on here in Phoenix. So you probably don't want to be that consistent. So in the situation where you move from jail to prison, again, you're switching from the county, and now you're in the state of Arizona once you go into prison. We have different prisons throughout Arizona. We have private prisons, and we have private prisons are run by third-party private companies here in Arizona. We have several of them, and we have, of course, our public systems, which are run both women's and men's facilities. And the reason why I bring that up is because in Cleophas Cooksey's case, he has been sitting for a while right now. So let me show you. Look at this case. So for those of you that want to ever investigate anything, all of the information about individuals that are being processed, both at the county level and the state level, are available online for you. So this is Maricopa County's criminal case information. So for those of you who are dating these days, this is a great way to find out if you have a criminal past of some type. So if you're wanting to know, all you have to do is go into here and you can put in the last name. Sorry, I got to spell it right. And you can see their cases will appear. This is all public record information, so for those of you who are worried about it, unless you get your record expunged, it's available for the rest of time and eternity. And so here you can see Cleophas Cooksey has a number of things. In 2001, he had a variety of activity, and sometimes you'll see these multiple cases. What happens with those is it's really the same situation. They're moving him, like they may recharge him for something. So if something happens inside of the court process, you may see that a case get canceled and a new one open. So for example, Cleophas Cooksey came in 2017. This is the one right here. So CR stands for criminal, the year, and then his case number. So Cleophas Cooksey came in his first case. If I click on it, you're going to see all the information that goes on. So here you can see who's identified as the plaintiff, the defendant, any victim representatives. You can see all this information, who the parties were that are related to the charging argument. So here you have murder in the first degree, premeditated, and you can see that this is his father. And then down below, you can see all of the court information that goes on. And you can see it go on, go on and on and on, and it's available for everyone. And then you can see his case calendar. Any of these information, if you wanted to know what on in a particular case, it's probably, there's a court record for it, and you just go through the different rules on it. It's called a minute entry, is what we call it in Arizona. Let's look at his most current one. So Cleophas Cooksey, if everything holds, he's actually, if you notice, since 2017, he has been sitting in jail here in Maricopa County, waiting trial. And there's a reason for that because he's been sitting in jail, and they've been moving his case around predominantly because the Maricopa County Attorney's Office is seeking the death penalty. Anytime we seek a death penalty for someone, it immediately changes the trajectory of the case because there's a lot of different actions that have to take place prior to any form of trial. In this situation, there has to be competency hearings because, of course, the first thing that they try to do is say, well, Cleophas Cooksey's insane. We need to do competency hearings. So if you scroll down through all of this, you're going to see all the different things that have gone on. And he had a status conference with yes, they have an oral argument set. And so these oral arguments are pre-trial things that are taking place. His trial is supposed to happen in April. So ladies and gentlemen, if it holds, you would be able to go and watch him in Maricopa County, downtown Phoenix. You can go in and see his trial that will take place. It could take, if he doesn't plea out, it probably is within a week or two to process his case. So we'll probably see it on the news. Again, you can always go out and find the latest status of things. There's a lot going on right now. You can see all the different dates of things going on. That's because they're getting ready for this trial, so they have to get everything in order before the trial starts. So they'll have jury selection. If you go at the beginning of the trial, you're going to see all the opening statements by the attorneys, things of this nature. If you go in the middle, you get to see probably all the evidence shared. You'll get to see gross pictures of things that they show from the different murder scenes, things of this nature. If you go at the end, you're going to hear all the closing arguments by the defense and the prosecution, just like you would see on television, except it's quite elongated, and it is quite boring to sit there and watch it. Now, in Cleophas Cooksey's case, because he's a spree killer, you may get more activity, but you can see how far, look how many situations have happened in court for him. This goes on and on and on. I'm about halfway here. So this, I showed this to you just to be aware that these things log. We have a system that just gets logged. And so Cleophas will eventually be tried. If they get the death penalty, then he'll move to death row, which is in Florence. That's where the prison's at in Florence. For most of the death row, if not all the death row inmates are sitting in Florence, waiting for their particular trial. It will probably be an average time, as you remember, is about 18 years for us to actually put someone to death. So if he's done this year, sometime way when I'm much, much older, he may actually be put to death. It depends on what happens. So I wanted you to be aware that you have access to all this information, number one, so that you, as a citizen, if you're concerned about good. I always remind students that if you're taking coursework and that, if you want to be somewhat criminologist or you want to understand some of these things, go and watch a court case. They're available all the time. They happen. The only times I would go is I wouldn't go at lunchtime and I wouldn't go on a Friday because typically those are the days that you don't have a docket that's there. If you want to see the docket is available. It's right here where it says docket home, and then you can select different things. Let's see, it's on the court calendar. You can look for a period of time, and then it'll show you all the different judges that are hearing different cases. Once you find them, you can look at their calendar. So you have to dig a little bit to find them. If nothing else, you can also just go down to the criminal court building, go in, and the docket's posted for the day. You can walk into a courtroom and sit in and see. In the mornings, you're going to see mostly pre-trial things that go on, plea bargains, things of that nature that happen very quickly. So people are moving in and out all the time. It is an open courtroom unless there's some reason that they have justifiable reasons to close it. So that's just food for thought for us. I want you to just know that that information is available for many of you, especially if you want to be an attorney. You too can go see these attorneys in action in your court. So, okay, so here's what we want you to do before I'm done for today. So this is, there's a link in today's lecture piece that takes you to the Wikipedia page for Davis Cookson. On that Wikipedia page, you will see a list of his victims and a backstory. And what we want you to do is to classify Davis Cooksey according to, is he an A, B, C, or D? So you're looking for his victim list. Did he have specific victims, or did he have a variety of victims? When it says specific methods, we're looking, did he only use a gun? Did he strangle some people? Did he use a gun sometimes? If he has different methods, then you pick which quadrant you're in. It's either going to be an A, B, C, or D. So with your colleagues, would you work on that? And I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to do that. And then I'll give you the code, which you can put in your attachment. So get started with it. You can chat with your colleagues, do what you need to do. Okay, it looks like some people are ready to submit their answers. Here you go. This is what you're looking for. The red tells you the code. Once you put in your answer, we will divulge the right answer on Monday. And so you can be done with the Zoom. So if you have things you want to do, if it's raining outside, who knows, I don't know if it's starting again. But enjoy your weekend, be safe, and we'll see you on Monday.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's so dumb. So I have to like get the water out of it.
I'm just a teenage dirtbag baby. Listen to Iron. Ow! Bye-bye. 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 I'm just a teenage dirtbag baby. Listen to Iron Maiden, baby. She's just a teenage dirtbag baby for you. Oh yeah, dirtbag. Oh, she doesn't know what. Oh, she doesn't know what she's missing. Listen. I was at 191 for a quick laundry. I'm sure you want to track this. If you show up to flagpole, you'll be counted. No. Two class and half an hour. She doesn't give a with no medical necessity for shaving profiles. Oh yeah, dirt. She doesn't know what she's missing. Her boyfriend's a gym class in half an hour. I'm just a teenage Huh? Yo, I have nothing on my sheet. Are you serious right now? Ooh. Or do I actually have nothing on my sheet? Nice, man. No, it's sick, dude. I'm just a teenager like you. Oh yeah, It's me Friday, don't say maybe. I'm just a teenage dirtbag, baby. Come with me Friday, don't say me like me. Ooh. I got 2 tickets. Kill yourself. No, just kidding. I've always wanted a brother. I've always wanted a brother. I 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 always wanted a brother. Just a teenage trouble. It's not oh yeah. Their name is Noel. My gosh, I freaking hate ads, bro.
it's like some people like be no. That's okay. Yeah, no, it's like I didn't even know this meeting was going to be and then like two people and that's always pretty cool. His meeting, Nick, Lester, and Cruz. We went to the reception. We went to mass, because we all went to mass. Then we went to the reception. We just sat in the back. We didn't have chairs or tables and food. So we just sat in the back and looked like they played the rest of the game. Fun was not the things. Yeah, because like the whole time they're dancing, we had to go on our screen comes up. We were working. Yeah, we were working. They did do a school. Well, she got me and my sister's got me. So it's kind of all I can think about is just like leaving. Ever since we were looking at wedding rings, I don't care. Stop. My mom was looking at reception rings. And my sister.
mention of anxiety and worry. I can continue to say, oh, don't care about the grades. If you care about grades, you're going to get a bad one. Throw caution to the wind. You don't do that. I wouldn't buy that either. So the problem is, of course, I just say that if I had something more concrete to say, rather than just be confident. The fact is, I haven't decided what it is. So I'm fair game for any kind of suggestion. Your same guys are giving me the people, giving me huge banks of multiple choice questions. If I give you a multiple choice midterm and final, that will be the first time in, I have never done it. 39 years I started teaching. In 39 years of teaching, I've never won. So, I'm not saying it won't happen, but there's been other ideas coming up. They're privileged. Which is all of which is just to say, if you've got ideas for something more interesting, more fun, even easier than what so, I'm all about you. I'm all about just service. Questions? I did manage to turn on Monday. My kicker start class. I left it on. Let's do what I promised we would do on Monday, which I wrote a follow-up about pretty early this morning. And that's look at some topics, slow things down, go back to this topic, and add a little bit of content. I hope you found online readers, some baffling little back in the table. I hope you found your way. Good, yeah, I can help you read the rest of it. Well, that was the awful chapter of that. 800-pound gorilla there called Mesopotamia. That's going to confuse myself. That's